And welcome back to Season 2, Episode 1 of the Grippin' and Rippin' Sports Podcast, presented by Rolling 7 Studios. I'm Danny Tops. We got Chris Stockwell back here again with us, my co-host.
What's up?
And we have an awesome Season 1 guest for you here today, Gio Battistoni.
Welcome.
How's it going today, guys?
Oh, it's going. It's exciting to be back in the studio. You know, we took a nice hiatus after we both had some vacations. Took like about a month off, so it's good to be back in because football season started.
We took like 2 weeks, like 2 weeks off in the middle of June, like when everybody does, right? Was it
right
June?
after the NBA championship, pretty much?
Yeah.
Right,
So
it was right before the All-Star break, or right after, one of the two.
what did you do?
I went to a bachelor party in San Diego. Then I went down to Arizona to go hang out with my fiance's, one of her best friends, and we went to the lake down there. Then we had a wedding in Zion the week after that.
Oh, man, that place is beautiful.
Yeah, Zion's awesome. Then we had a fucking wedding in Kentucky. That was just last week. That was a whole fucking fiasco. That was actually a lot of fun, but we can get into that later.
You were even in Cincinnati?
Cincinnati, Kentucky, and Nashville in 3 days.
It's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry to go.
We're stealing Gio's thunder here.
No, absolutely. I get your recaps in for sure. Let them know what you've been doing because that I would much rather be talking about that. If I'm honest.
But so obviously for the fans at home that don't know, I've known Gio now. The year is 2019. I've probably known Gio for about 10 years. We're some local Liberty Patriot boys here, baseball players from Liberty. And so yeah, Gio, tell them a little about yourself.
Yeah, so I grew up on a farm. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so but moved here 2009. That was when I actually met Dan, played baseball together. Other than that, I mean, like right now, I'm just any other normal college student, still stuck in school for whatever reason.
How many years you going on?
Oh my! I think this is gonna be my 7th year.
Damn
yeah,
right, baby.
I was supposed to be. They talk about the 5th years. Like, no,
You're super duper senior.
I am the 7th year. Right?
You really went for it.
Well, the worst part is that I'm actually kind of a junior, I guess, like a second semester junior. So that's like.
So you still have a little bit more time.
It's December of next year. So
we'll
be all right.
You're getting there.
Yeah,
you're
it's
getting
it's
there.
that
That's
UNLV
awesome.
time for sure.
Yeah,
anyone who goes to UNLV knows you're not getting done in 4. You're more than likely not getting done in 5. So it's
Not a fan of UNLV. Not a big UNLV person here.
But
college baseball has just college athletics. A lot has to do with that. Going to school extra time. I'm sure because I played. College sports.
Sure.
You played college sports. I finished in 6.5 years.
Yeah. So that was the thing too. Is that I played in 3 different spots. I mean, it was. I started up in Reno, left there. That just didn't work out. Ended up in Washington. Played there for a year. And
that's right. You were up. It was Olympia, right?
Olympic College. Yeah, it was miserable. No offense. I had a great time playing baseball. The guys up there I met, a lot of them were really cool. There were some total just ridiculous people, but that's a different story. And then got done with that. That actually enabled me to extend my career. I ended up going to CSN and played ball there for a year, and just one thing led to another. Kind of realized how much school was going to cost to continue playing baseball, and I was like, yeah, $25,000 a year or like $6,000 a year. What am I going to do?
Yeah, sometimes the financial decisions are the more important ones.
Oh yeah, when you start looking at it in the aspect of don't get me wrong, the school is beautiful. Point Loma in San Diego.
Yep.
That was like my dream school all along, but like $25,000. Like I'm sitting here looking at my now $16,000 in debt, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm glad I didn't do that because that was 2 years of it. Maybe I would have finished sooner though because UNLV is just
and then the pressure's on because you're coming out of pocket 25 G's instead of.
Well, yeah. So I mean, plus playing baseball, no matter what, I would have had to have my credits correct and everything done. So I mean, maybe it would have been better to go there, but not worth the money.
Yeah, but Point Loma, I gotta say, out of all places to play, Point Loma, they're D2 now, right?
Yeah, they're D2
because they were NAIA back in the day. They're D2 now. Out of all places that aren't a Division I school, like the Vanderbilts or the Floridas, the big time baseball schools, there's not many more places that are more beautiful to play at than
When I hear college baseball, I think of Cal State Fullerton.
Cal State's.
I mean,
that's a
yeah,
solid
for sure.
school.
I mean, everyone kind of thinks of that, especially for a California school like
Yeah.
that. When you think about the Point Loma field, though, so you got the field right up here, the outfield fence, and then it just
ocean.
drops to the beach.
Yeah.
Ocean.
If you
So
play
if you
right
hit the
field,
ball out, you hit it. You hit
Onto the
it.
beach.
If you
pretty
hit it
much.
to center, if you hit it to center field, center to left field, it's basically it's a bomb into the ocean. Like you just as a pitcher, if
it's
you do
that's your view when you're hitting is the fucking ocean.
Yeah.
Like there's no batter's eye. I don't know if there is or not,
No,
but
there
I'm sure there
isn't.
is, but there isn't.
no, there isn't, and actually that's what makes it miserable. Certain times of the day, the sun actually comes down.
Does it like reflect off the
So,
ocean
like,
or something?
Yeah, I mean, like when it's coming down, like there's points where it's shining in your face.
Really quick. You two played college baseball. What is a batter's eye for some of our listeners?
So
who
a
might
batter's eye. Well, he's a pitcher, so
I know nothing about batters. Eyes.
he does. I just like that's a classic college baseball thing too. Is there's always that ongoing pitcher batter battle, but position player I should say. But so a batter's eye for anybody at home that doesn't know what that is it helps a hitter be able to see the ball come out of the hand of the pitcher better. So usually what that means is it's in center field. It's taller than just a center field fence. It usually goes about 10, 15 feet higher. So that no matter how tall the pitcher is, that ball comes in the backstop or the background of it.
So
is either
like
black
a
or
stadium
green.
that comes to mind would be like Arizona's stadium.
Arizona has one.
Yes, that
just
is
about every
that
MLB
is actually
stadium has
a
one.
ridiculous batter's eye though, because a lot of times, like what stadiums will do, they'll put the batter's eye behind the fence. Arizona, they have it, and it's
part
raised
of the
above,
fence.
and then they just make the umpire's job miserable. And now with replay, obviously, it's not so bad, but to see there's that little yellow line, and then the cutoff is right there. It's like, come on, man. Like,
So just about every MLB stadium has some type of batter's eye in it. You can go anywhere, and there's something in center field that's
That the ball-
specifically put
the
there, so
ball-
it's easier for you to pick up the ball out of the pitcher's hands.
Yeah.
Because if you go play at a place like a Point Loma or a place that doesn't have a batter's eye, that ball is going to be coming out either from you'll see it off of the sky, which is blue and white. If there's clouds, those things that are in the sky.
No way.
Yeah, right. And it makes it really hard to fucking see when that ball comes out of the pitcher's hand.
And
There's a
it's-
cloud behind him.
Yeah.
So that ball just sits in the cloud for you only have 0.325 seconds to hit a baseball practically, or to make up your mind whether or not you swing, and then you have to still hit it. So it makes it kind of difficult if you can't see.
there's usually never fans directly
Mm-hmm.
behind the pitcher, and when you think about it, if all the fans wore white, how big of a home field advantage would be, because what if they had something where they moved when your team was hitting,
Oh God.
but when
Couldn't imagine.
Or
That's
they
a serious-
just
hard.
put
That's
a
a
white
10th man
white
right there.
tarp down
Yeah,
in the
right.
in the middle of center field, like how they do in the soccer stadiums. They just change the whole.
yeah.
There was a place in Kansas that I couldn't stand. I know we got to get the football here, but there was a place called Bethany, Kansas. It was Bethany School. The school was called Bethany, and they didn't have a batter's eye. The batter's eye was the fucking expressway right behind the center
So,
field.
gray.
So it was gray. And I think my career, so I played at Bethany I played against Bethany 2 years, the 2 years I was in Kansas. And I'm pretty sure my lifetime at Bethany was 2 for 15. Could not hit
Jeez.
there. It's hard to fucking hit in Bethany, man.
Maybe the pitchers were just good, Dan. I don't know.
Did the rest of your team did the rest of your team not do well there either?
Actually, no, we never played well at Bethany.
They had
I would say
your number
Bethany was
via
one of the
batter's
harder
eye.
places to play. And then
They were so far inside.
They had the fucking 335 club down left field line, so I had to deal with those assholes all game because they have public property right behind, so they're just sitting behind you drinking, getting hammered the entire game. They get a program before the game, so they know all the players' numbers.
Oh, man.
So I'm just sitting there listening to them talk shit the entire time.
This is what they do in Kansas.
That's all there is to do in Kansas.
Jeez.
Drink beers in the fucking middle of nowhere. But so yes, we're excited to be back. Football season is finally upon us. First games are today for college football. Week 0, it's being called now.
Week 0.
So real quick, your homers. We love to hit the homers on here. So what are your favorite teams for which sports?
Before we get into college football.
Yeah. So I'm a huge Broncos fan. I dabble for baseball, Mets and Angels. I grew up an Angels fan. I was converted into enjoying watching the Mets play. I don't know who put that misery on me, or I
That's
don't know why
terrible.
he put that misery on me, but it was Griffin Kelly.
Oh.
Griffin. Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah. So he. I mean,
That was a fucking dick move.
I think
Griff.
that was 2014 when they had just like that unreal staff where
the Harvey.
Matt Harvey was still great.
Yeah.
And Bartolo Colon was their 5 guy, just throwing 92 all fat, like 97% fastballs that just move like this. And it's like,
Gotta love Big Sexy.
yeah, Big Sexy was
Greatest
was
nickname of all time.
unreal.
But all right.
He had one of the most unreal careers.
He really did, though.
just like kept bouncing back. After
So
being
yeah,
decided.
let's get into college football, gentlemen. It is week 0. We have our first games of college football season tonight. There's a 4:00 game, which is Florida versus Miami, and then we have I think it's the 9 o'clock, 7 o'clock game. I forget which one it is because it's in Hawaii. It's Hawaii versus Arizona.
Yeah.
So those are the 2 games tonight. So first and foremost, what we have to do, because this is week 0 after all, is we have to make some bold fucking predictions for what's going to happen this college football season. So I'll start with you, Gio. What if you can just say one bold prediction and make it bold? What do you think is going to happen this year?
Man, is it really bold to say that we might get like a Clemson Alabama 5, or is that like just too like easy to say?
That's too easy.
That's too easy. Yeah, because that is just insane to me. You're gonna have to come back to me. I'm gonna have to come up with a good
Chris,
one
you
then.
want to go? You got one?
Yeah. Jacob Eason's going to win Pac-12 Player of the Year.
Wow. Could you let the fans know at home who Jacob Eason is?
Yeah, Jacob Eason's a quarterback who transferred from Georgia. He's one of the guys that Jake Fromm just kept beating out,
Yeah.
along with Justin Fields going to Ohio State, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jacob Eason's up in Washington. They're starting the season ranked 13. So, I don't know how far of a stretch it is, but I think that he'll win Pac-12 Player of the Year.
I mean, it's not being in that system, being in that air raid system up in Washington. That could very well work in his favor to win Pac-12 Player of the Year.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I mean, he's going to have receivers to throw to, and they call it the air raid for a reason. So, for
He
me,
should be able to put up some crazy numbers.
he should be. My bold prediction. I can go 2 ways with this one, but I'm going to go the super bold route. It's that Michigan by midseason point is 500 and Jim Harbaugh is fired by midseason.
Wow.
Bold.
You know what
You're crazy.
So bold.
I'm sitting here thinking about it, and I'm like, man, like Jim Harbaugh's job, like, is he gonna even be there? Is he gonna be there after the season's over? Like, he needs to do what he hasn't done in any years past, and he needs to not only win against the top 10, but he needs to go and he needs to beat Ohio State.
And that's the problem. And that's why I make it. It's a bold prediction. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like that's going to happen by any chance. If I had to put, bookie odds
All right.
on that happening, it's like 100,000 to 1.
With that
But-
being said, then I'm gonna go. Sorry, if you wanted to.
No,
finish,
go.
My bold prediction: Utah will be in the playoff.
Oh,
Give us some insight
Top
as to why.
four,
Why,
huh?
why do you think Utah is going to make the college football
there's
playoff?
There's just so many people on them right now. They're like a fun kind of just underdog outside pick that Pac-12. You kind of think of Pac-12 like they're kind of down. I got to look at their schedule, but I'm pretty sure it's somewhat favorable when it comes to matchups, getting people. And then we can come back to that. Let's see.
I mean, out of all the Pac-12 is down, I would say.
I'm curious, and on top of the Eason quarterback in Washington, I'm really interested to see who is it? Khalil Tate in Arizona, to see how he bounces back from last year.
He was supposed to have a breakout year last year.
He was one of the guys last year that was talked about as being like a Heisman candidate at the beginning of the year, and then he totally fell off.
It completely fell off.
So yeah, you're looking at one game, November 2nd, Utah at UW, and that's where like it kind of is their only tough game. If they go in there and they win that game, they really could be undefeated.
And when do they play Oregon?
They don't play Oregon.
Let me backtrack.
So
when you
there-
said
so there
Jacob
it is
Eason,
right there.
is he at Washington State or Washington?
Washington.
Yeah.
Oh.
Not with
Yeah,
Mike
well, I was
Leach.
Not
gonna
with
say-
Mike
I was
Leach,
gonna
so
say
it's not the air raid.
Washington
That's my
State's
fault. I
air
thought
raid is-
somebody heard
yeah.
Washington
It's
State.
Greg Peterson from Boise.
Oh, okay. So it's still going to pass the ball a lot, but
Is it Chris Peterson?
But
I think it's Chris.
It's Chris Peterson. Yeah.
like Oregon State's still kind of down.
The
No,
Pac-12,
dude.
I mean, it's weird to say because, the years that we were growing up, going through high school, the Pac-12 was probably one of the more premier, football conferences outside of the SEC still at that
Absolutely.
time. But, Oregon was always a number 1 or number 2 seed. UCLA was always up there. You had USC was fucking always a top team. I would put Pac-12, if I ranked the Big Five, probably at number 3 behind the Big Ten number 4, Big Ten, SEC, ACC. But the ACC to me is extremely top heavy. I don't think any of those teams outside of Clemson are really worth a damn. But
Well, see, that's the thing, is that the difference between Clemson and then the rest of the ACC is just like there's no bigger gap in college
there's not.
football.
It's pretty
Yeah,
substantial.
it's bad.
like at least SEC, you can talk about Bama, you could talk about LSU, you could talk about Florida.
But
there's teams in the SEC who could any year one of them could have an amazing year.
But in the Pac-12 this year, we actually are seeing some household names at the quarterback position, and included with obviously the Heisman frontrunner this year, Justin Herbert. What is he going to do? I think they've got a unique system up there where it's going to be catered to him getting numbers, and
I mean, and that's you go back to the big years, when the Pac-12 was on top. I don't want to say on top as in they're above the SEC, but when the Pac-12 was really dominant and prominent in just the sports media in general.
I think you can.
There was a lot of great quarterbacks that were going through Pac-12.
USC falling off being the biggest issue as to why the Pac-12 is not looked at.
That's actually probably a great point, because you had just a slew of quarterbacks that were going through at the time at USC. And that's not to say that any of the position players or skill guys were, bums, but when you have, Matt Leinart, you have Carson Palmer, you have,
even recently, Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold was pretty good, but
what's his name? Who? Matt Castle got a massive contract in the NFL, dude.
yeah, that's very true. And now they got JT Daniels there from Mater Dei, and I mean, I thought his
the
freshman year was, it wasn't terrible for a true freshman quarterback coming in starting year 1. That's tough to do, especially when you go into the Pac-12. That's not easy.
Barkley was the first ever.
Who was?
Matt Barkley.
Yeah,
Matt Barkley.
Matt Barkley.
And he was Mater Dei too, wasn't he?
Yeah, right.
No, did he start opening day?
And this new kid, JT Daniels.
Damn. So so that's some interesting stuff. But to segue into my bold prediction, is Harbaugh legitimately though on the hot seat? Because it's been talked about a lot in the sports media cycle because of some of the things that you brought up, Gio. Just the fact that, one, he has yet to beat Ohio. Was it year 4 now or year 5 that he's been
This is
in
his
Michigan?
5th year.
So this is year 5. He has yet to beat Ohio State. His record versus top 10 teams is
1-9.
1-9. I mean, the Michigan dominates the lower level Big Ten, even the Northwesterns and the upper end echelon of the Big Ten, but I don't know, man. Are you talking about the Michigan State game?
No, he's talking about the Ohio State game when something happened with 4th down, right?
There was a lot of things that
Well, there was, the refs
23 blown calls, I
were
think,
miserable,
just the
but
second half of that game.
yeah.
I mean, I will say that there's a lot of anomalies, though, in those 5 years. There's been a lot of, freak happenings and some crazy shit, such as that Ohio State game, the Michigan State game on the blown fucking punt at the end of the game. There's some solid points you can make for why, a couple things bounce, Harbaugh's way, and we're not even having this conversation. But I think it's a legitimate conversation to have. Is he on the hot seat because of these specific things? He hasn't. They haven't made it to the college playoffs yet. They haven't won a Big Ten championship yet. Yeah, they're 1-9 versus top 10 teams.
Well, you're dealing with that fan base too. Michigan is no joke.
Bleed blue, baby.
Yeah,
They're very serious diehard fans.
Yeah, so
they're true
when
blue.
They are.
when you're really thinking about it, is it gonna be all Jim's done so much for us, what are we .
Well, our producer said before this show started, we were doing our pre-op and whatnot, and he said that no matter what, he can go 0-12 and they still wouldn't fire Harbaugh. And I get that he's got the ties, he's got the legacy there.
Yikes, I don't know,
but I don't know if that's true.
When you're looking at this specific thing, college football, and you have a select number of available coaches that are elite level coaches, there's a significant drop off after you have that first, even second tier of top coaches, right? There's not anybody available that's better than him.
Well, hold on, because imagine this crazy story where Harbaugh loses his job, and then all of a sudden Now you try to pull Urban Meyer from retirement. That would be just
Now,
insane. Could you even do that? Would that be allowed?
If that were to happen, then that would be serious. But I think that everybody's really quick to knee jerk react to everything, and that you have to understand, like, most of the time the grass is not greener on the other side. So
Michigan hasn't won shit in 25 fucking years.
yeah,
What the
and
fuck are they complaining about?
and I think it's important to understand who you really are, right? Yeah, they're Michigan. Yeah, they're
You are
supposed
Ohio
to be
State's
supposed to
little
be
brother.
the dominant force of the Big Ten, but they haven't done it, like our producer just screamed, in 25 years. So who are they? I don't. They're not getting the top level recruits. They keep trying to push this envelope of making it, but I don't know that there's a better fit. I mean, outside of, say, Urban Meyer, but that's a tough order to even pull him out. And if he's even considering it, I don't know that he'll end up doing that.
You know,
A lot of these guys make a lot of money analyzing on ESPN,
Michigan's never going to be an option because of the Ohio State.
and not even to mention the fact that he coached at Ohio State.
but
But
can we
could you
just
imagine
imagine
that, though?
that
Like-
for just 2 seconds?
Think about what that
Urban
does
Meyer
to the
goes to
rivalry.
Michigan, wins a national championship at Michigan, and Jim Harbaugh never could come close.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
how many? He's
it's
got
a
3,
nice,
right?
It's a
Urban's
nice
got 3.
It's a nice hypothetical to talk about.
He's got 3.
I just don't see Harbaugh going anywhere, man. He's just one of those. He's just one of those
Do
guys.
you think they're going to be in the Final Four this year?
They'll ruin it, definitely.
I mean, I'm fine with it. I'm a Big Ten fan, so I would love to see,
Anyways,
Michigan.
speaking
in
of
the
two
college
teams,
championship.
speaking of 2 teams that should be there come the playoff time, what are your guys' comparisons to? Or I want to hear your guys' breakdowns differentiating Trevor Lawrence and Tua.
I think Tua is the more athletic quarterback that can just kind of he's like a jack of all trades kind of guy. I feel like he's going to be able to escape the pocket if he needs to. He can make throws on the run. If I had to
But
liken
he's still
him,
a pristine passer too.
that's where I was going. If I had to liken him to a NFL comparison, I would probably say Patty Mahomes.
See, I wouldn't go that aggressive.
And that's obviously take
Comparison,
that, you know,
yeah.
I
grain of salt.
here
Take
we-
that
here
with a
we-
grain of
no,
salt.
Here's a better one. I'll go, and it's a direct segue here. Deshaun Watson from Clemson.
that's fair. That's
Right.
a solid.
I think that they're
comparison.
pretty.
I would say Patty Mahomes and Deshaun Watson are damn near almost the same. Deshaun Watson's probably a little bit more as a better pocket passer than Mahomes because Mahomes relies more on his feet. People
can't
think,
read that.
Stevie Young.
oh, you're going to Steve for
Tua?
For
That's
Tua?
pretty- it's
That's
pretty
good too because
I'm not
they were
trying,
good on
I'm,
their feet.
I'm not trying to give him that much credit yet. You see, like,
Let's say you take it with a
I
grain of
think
salt.
that- I
It's just a
think that Deshaun
comparison.
Deshaun Watson.
huh?
Just gave Deshaun Watson.
I think they're.
Yeah,
I think
mean,
all
they
3
both
of them
won
are
national
good
championships.
comparisons.
They're both going to be a top 1 or 2 pick. I mean, as far as what they look like playing, Steve Young is.
He was on the bench for 4 years in his NFL career. I mean,
So
that's
the only
pretty fair.
only real question I have is Tua's arm strength really there?
I think
Because-
that the throw that he made against Georgia showed that he's got some.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. He's got like a pretty decent arm. I think Trevor Lawrence, his arm just blows him out of the water.
But his arm is better,
And-
definitely.
but yeah, when you look at versatility and you look at kind of escaping the pocket and escaping the pass rush, I mean, yeah, Tua, you're probably going to take Tua, but I think from a translation to the NFL, and I mean, we actually are seeing this more and more where we have these running quarterbacks going into the NFL and actually performing pretty decently now.
Well, it's because they're still good passers. They're not the
Well,
Mike
yeah,
Vicks of
exactly.
the world that relied on their feet
Yeah.
to make plays. You know, they can still. They're still pocket
Well,
packers.
and they're also taking the game and it's evolving around these
Yeah,
specific
exactly.
players.
Exactly. When you have an athlete like that, freak athletes, by the way, like guys who just do unreal things and make unreal moves. But yeah, you obviously want to mold your offense around that.
See, and I get that argument of, and I don't even want to call it an argument necessarily because Trevor Lawrence has a bigger arm than Tua does. But I've never been a huge fan of the arm strength argument for what makes a quarterback. Yeah, is it fucking great to have a quarterback like John Elway who could throw it 80 yards on a line down the field? I'm sure that makes it, it's amazing, right? But you can look at just guys throughout the league that never had the biggest arms. That was like their knock coming out of college was arm strength just isn't there. Every year they say, from the last 15 years, they've said Tom Brady's arm is just, it's just getting worse every year. Tom just doesn't have the arm strength. And every year in the Super Bowl, I watch him make a 50-yard throw down the fucking field at the
I
dime.
think we've talked about it before. If not, you and I off the show have definitely talked about it, that Patrick Mahomes is an outlier to this rule. Generally, the person that throws the hardest does not translate to being the best quarterback.
Yeah.
And that's easy. There's specific windows that you have to be able to hit. And if you throw the ball too hard and can't lighten up and put some touch on it, that you're not going to be able to fit into windows and actually make like what we talk about, that throw. Now, Trevor Lawrence certainly, I think, can make that throw. And Tua has demonstrated that he can make that throw as well. What separates them to me, and I love both of them.
I think they're both going to be.
I would be happy with either of them. What
If I had a
happens to
shit team in 2 years when they're coming out of the draft, I'd be happy if I was a 1-2 pick because I think both are solid.
Hopefully the Broncos.
What stands out to me was when Trevor Lawrence got punched out of that Syracuse game last year as a freshman, but then he came back the next week and wasn't gun shy and continued to lead the team down, and after being crowned the guy. He very easily could have just recoiled and that been it. But he got punched out with a concussion, and he was able to battle back and take command of this team as a true freshman.
Yeah.
That is something that, while Tua did too, Tua was groomed for the role and didn't play until the second half.
I would still like to have seen Tua that wasn't injured too at the end of the year. That people forget that was a big factor
why
of what happened.
Why Kyler Murray won the Heisman,
Yeah.
because Tua was hurt.
It was like the last 3 weeks of the season, then going into the playoffs, he was battling injuries that entire time. Those people forget those first 7 weeks. Tua was nobody was close to him in the Heisman rankings.
Nope.
Wasn't even a comparison.
And he wasn't even playing second halves either.
Yeah, bet Alabama. Minus 30, no matter what happens.
Hey, I think
Tua's back, baby.
I think that Bama. No. Listen, guys. Here, all right, Dan. I got. Here's the lock of the week.
Oh, are we doing that?
Sure.
Are we doing that? Oh, okay. So season 2, Grippin' and Rippin' Sports Podcast, we got a new segment for you guys going into the football season. I'm excited about it. We haven't necessarily come up with an official name. I want to call it Lock of the Century. We just want to call it Lock of the Week. Obviously, we know that there's no such thing as true locks, but yes, there is.
We're just for argumentative purposes.
Yeah, for just for fun, we're going to give you guys a pick every week. We're not going to do week 0 for college football just because this show will not come out until after today, obviously, because we have to edit and whatnot. But let's go real quick. Let's go around the table. Let's hit the picks for today just so that the audience knows that this is filmed at 11 o'clock in the morning. And if I was right, I'm going to say it on the next episode.
We're talking about picks for today.
Yeah, picks for
you
today.
gotta
I wasn't ready for that.
Oh, yeah, I know you weren't. That's why I like to catch people off guard.
All right, I'll go 2. I'm gonna take Miami +7. I'm also.
Ooh, he's going with the U.
I'm also gonna say that old quarterback over there gets punched out and Tate ends up playing in the second half.
Oh, is that a Bishop Gorman homerism?
100%.
That
I was
is
wearing my
just
state championship
He was wearing
shirt
a state
earlier
championship
today,
shirt.
and
We
I
made
also-
him change it.
And last week I ran into Coach Darwin Rost at an undisclosed location wearing the exact same shirt.
But did he remember you?
Who knows? I know I've got a ring and he doesn't. So from that year, he did win one. So there's that.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say that is a hot take there. Then, so hopefully he watches it.
You guys pick the rest of these games. I actually have a week 1.
You got your week 1 ready?
Yeah, I know what it is.
Okay, so for today, for the week 0 pick, I have a 3-teamer in today, regardless.
Of course you do. Of
Week
fucking
0,
course
baby.
you do.
Time to start making some money on college football.
Nah, this is the time of year. This is the best
but
time of year. for
week
me.
1 is always my favorite for just sports betting in general of college. But week 0, I'm gonna go Arizona -7. Or not? I'm sorry, not Arizona. Florida -7. Arizona's like -11 right now.
We should
Florida
create,
-7.
a little friendly wager.
I am going to go.
Do you want to wager 25 push-ups, Dan?
Ooh.
How mighty bold of you to assume that you can do 25 push-ups.
I'll do 25 right now on camera.
Yeah, you're on there.
I'm going to go with Miami, or actually, it's going to be the Miami game under 45.5. And I hate betting unders. Life is too
Life's
short.
too
Life's
short
too
to bet
short
the
to
under.
bet unders.
I hate betting the under, but I think there's too many questions on Miami's offensive side. I mean, that defense, they have a lot of returners.
Bad
I
weather
mean,
today,
it's
too.
yeah. I
Rain
mean,
for 3 straight days.
under 45.5. First game jitters.
How pissed?
Normally-
How pissed are you going to be if that's sitting at like 38 and then Tate Martell ends up playing in the fourth quarter? You gonna be scared?
If it's that, I mean, if it's a close game and they put him in, then like sure. But like, I mean, if it's like 38-0 and then they throw him in, then it's like, and then he scores a touchdown.
Okay.
What if he scores a touchdown? 45.5.
And we're like, no picks, no fumbles, nothing, just knee
I
it.
think I just saw 45.5. So yeah,
Then you're
that
good.
would be fine. They're at 38. So just don't go for 2.
Have been there before.
Oh my god.
All right, so that's our week 0 picks. Obviously next episode we'll find out how correct we were. But what we're gonna do is for the lock of the century, lock of the week, whatever we decide calling it, we're gonna have a little graphic on the screen. We'll have my record, Chris's record, and our guest's record as a combined. Okay. So week 1, boys, what do we got? And you can go any sports. I'm going college football because I think
College
that's the
football.
best one to bet.
I think sticking with the college football. I'll definitely stick with that.
Start us off, Gio. What do you got?
I'm gonna go Oregon plus 3.5. Huge game not only for Oregon but also for all of the Pac-12 because if Oregon wins this game, it kind of puts the Pac-12 kind of back into like, oh, are they actually going to be competitive this year? They go out, they beat a good Auburn team. I think Auburn gets to at least 10 wins this year, so that's going to be.
Well, and they're going to replacing their quarterback Stidham as well.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So I mean, you're getting plus money. A neutral site game, probably going to be more favorite towards.
Early on,
towards
it's always
Auburn,
good
but-
to look at the quarterbacks that are coming back and have some experience
Yeah, I
over,
mean-
over fresh starts because it takes time to. You have to play football to get better at football.
That's
There's only
true.
so much practice can do.
Possible Heisman.
Do you have
candidate?
Do you have one yet?
I got mine.
Go ahead.
Oh, as everybody in this room should know by now, I am a huge proponent, big fan of Week 1 in college football for betting wise. I'm gonna go Alabama minus 35. Give me
You fuck.
every single fucking.
Are you kidding me?
Give me every
Just take
single
yours.
favorite that's over 25 points, and I will bet every single one of them Week 1 because the bookies have no idea how to make the lines. Daniel Jones is gone in Duke. Duke is going to suck. He was the only reason they were even remotely good last year and went like fucking, what were they, 6-6? Like, Bama, minus 35. Tua's going to actually maybe even go half with that because Tua's going to put up 50
Can you
in
just
fucking
shut
2
the
quarters.
fuck up, please?
No, I will
God
not.
Damn you.
Why are you so mad? Is that because you were going to go Bama?
The line's not up yet, but my lock is 100% Bama first half. They're going to unload on Duke. They're going to dismantle them.
So why am I being told to shut the fuck up?
Because you also said maybe you just go first half.
Maybe you go first half and whole game.
Come on,
You know,
man, why
fucking
you got to give out 2 picks? You're taking other people's picks.
Come on, Dan. What are you doing?
I'm excited, man.
Pick a side now. Pick one.
Oh, I'm going Bama first half. Oh, actually, no. If you're going first half, I'll take the full game. They're both going to hit, so I'm not.
We have to
worried.
talk about these moving forward.
Yeah, you guys are gonna have to go over them.
I don't know. I kind of like having the
I
same
thought
one.
Bama first half was like sneaky enough, and it was sneaky enough. But I wish we talked about this
No.
beforehand.
Even he's shaking his head like, yeah, nah.
Know what?
That's not sneaky at all.
They're gonna fucking blow.
I
them
mean,
out.
regardless, we're gonna.
It's like,
They're gonna win the first half by like 40 points,
Yeah, most likely.
and the line's at 35. The first half, you're looking at the first half probably being like 21 and a half when it comes out.
I bet you it'd be
Higher.
I'm thinking it's be around 25, 26.
say probably 30 games, 35.
Well, because that's what happened. That did happen a couple times last year. Is they fucking blew people out so badly in the first half that like you said, Tua came out second half. Like what was it? The fucking Citadel. Like they were up. It was like minus 45, and they were up 50-0 at half, and then they won the game 50-7.
Yeah,
Like-
Saban's way too nice.
Yeah. So I'll go full game. I'm not even scared of that.
Saban is not nice, by the way. He is a fucking dick.
So yeah,
He
week.
beat a lot of teams by 80 to 100 points that he never does.
Oh, I mean, yeah,
That's
sure,
true.
but that's with respect to his peers. Yeah,
All right, so next week we'll bring you some NFL picks for sure.
Yep.
Which will segue us right into this specific sport, which is up and down in my life.
We're
Of the National Football League.
We're gonna get to that, but first,
were we
can
not finished with something?
No, that was it, right?
What are we getting? All right, go ahead.
Well,
Sorry.
can anyone,
no, we were
can
s-
anyone stop Bama and Clemson?
Oh, I mean, do we? I guess you're right.
just
We
have
were
to
supposed
put
to go
switch
into that. I mean, I love college football and I love football, so I'll always watch football. As everybody knows, I stopped watching basketball for the most part of last year just because I obviously my outcome was wrong. due to some unforeseen things that were going to happen. But I was big on like, okay, the Warriors going to fucking win again because of the Warriors.
The Bulls got to win some games this year.
The Bulls ain't going to win shit this year. Okay,
Zach
I've
LaVine
accepted
looks
it.
nice.
I love Zach LaVine and I love Markkinen, but I don't think I'm not.
Lauri Markkinen has his own hot sauce.
Does he really? Mm-hmm. I'm about to try that.
Yeah.
But
We're gonna find that.
but that's I mean
Is
it's
that
really
is that at Smith's?
We probably get it on Amazon.
Amazon $7.99, but $5.99 for shipping probably.
Nah,
Unless you got Prime.
No, you got Prime. Student
but,
Prime. Student Primes. That's
that
the
a real
good
thing?
part about
That's
still
the
being
one
in
thing?
college,
Yo,
yes.
we need
The
that
best
hookup,
part
bro.
about
Come
still
on.
being in
Yeah.
college- keep your school email. I promise it is the
Worst day of my life was when I lost my school email. Then I didn't have Hulu anymore for cheap. I didn't have any of them anymore
So
for cheap.
UNLV, that's one good thing. I guess they're giving it to you for like the rest of your life.
Wait, if you're like a student at UNLV?
Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work.
I should go back and get my
But
UNR
yeah.
one.
I can't wait for
so,
once
I mean,
Disney
it's like-
Plus comes out, the fucking
Oh
game's
my God.
completely
Yeah,
changed.
yeah,
Okay,
that's it.
Disney Plus is gonna offer the Disney Plus streaming service, Hulu, and ESPN Plus for like $12.99 a month.
And-
Bye bye cable. Fucking
Yeah.
thing of the past.
YouTube TV, big time investment.
Think so?
Yeah, well, I've had it for a year now, and you get like every single. Well, I mean, we're in this crazy market where you get everybody. So you get San Diego, you get San Francisco, you get Colorado, you get Arizona. So you also get the Mariners. Like, you know,
Really?
so like, I mean, during
San
baseball
Fran,
season, I got 4. I mean, and don't get me wrong, MLB.TV.
You get all the sports?
Sure, but yeah, you get. I mean,
Oh shit, that's crazy.
the only thing that you
Welcome
don't get
to the,
obviously is the package, but like for like football. But I mean,
Welcome to the Grip It and Rip It investment
section.
section.
So $36 a month. Just plugging
dude.
YouTube
Yeah.
TV here.
Whoever-
But
hey, producer, who is the parent company of ABC? ABC? Disney?
Disney's monopolized the entire market, dude. Speaking of which, I mean, like I said, I think the Warriors, if we go back to the whole, Bama Clemson thing, it's very similar to basketball to where, I am a little aggravated with it because it almost does seem that you almost know the outcome of how college football is going to take place. Now, the good part about it is football, anything can happen. Injuries are a part of the game. Any team can win on any given day. Okay, that is the truth when it comes to football. And if Clemson loses twice, if Bama somehow loses twice, then they're out. It just seems like, man, you're heading towards it again because they have it's 1-2 consensus quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's all great. I just want to plug my team starting the year in the top 25 for the first time.
That's big
ever,
time.
Ever. So that's a big deal.
Who is that?
That's the Syracuse Orange.
oh yeah,
He's from Syracuse.
I am
I got a buddy from there.
incredibly happy that they are starting the year in the top 25.
Well, their quarterback's coming back too, right?
Well, Dungy's gone, but the
Dungy's
the
gone?
guy that's there, he's pretty good. He's
Yeah.
pretty good. So we'll obviously I don't think that they can make it. But last year, if they would have beat Clemson in
Which
that
they
game,
should have
in that
beat
game that they
Clemson.
knocked Trevor Lawrence out in, they actually would have been undefeated based on the rest of their games, I believe. But I will say that Clemson, when that happened, they inserted an offensive lineman who changed the game, and we need to look into that for the next episode. Who that
okay.
guy is? He's serious.
Yeah.
Anyways, sorry, you were about to say something.
No, yeah.
I had to shamelessly plug
No.
my Orange
I
because
love
they
it.
haven't
I
been
love it.
relevant in forever.
I
in
love it.
football.
I mean, I like
well,
betting on them last year
forever.
too.
They've been
Yeah.
sneaky like the past couple years.
Dino,
I feel like.
Dino,
It's just been
Dino
randomly,
Babers,
like, yeah.
Dino Babers, Babers.
So
They have a really good young receiver too, don't they? Could have sworn that there was one go-to guy with Dungy.
Can you just let him keep talking and
It's
stop
all good.
showing that I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about? Thanks.
Dan's been talking his whole life, man.
No, coming from this fucking guy, out of all fucking people.
I was just loud.
That's true.
All right.
That is very true.
You got to remember with that comparison from the NBA to college football with those teams is that in the NBA we are talking about grown men. These kids, they're kids. Don't get me wrong. They're huge. They're big, and we love to bet on them. At the end of the day, these are 19 and 20-year-old kids. And when you really dig deep down, like they're young, they're gonna go out, they're gonna drink, they're gonna make stupid mistakes.
Yeah, it's the old adage of what happens if what happens if Justin Herbert tries cocaine for the first time this year on Friday night. You know,
Mighty bold of you to think Justin Herbert's
Yeah.
never done cocaine before.
never ever. You know, Just like that stuff happens. Once you become a professional, things change.
Out of your
But
system
they
in
should
2
be
days,
attacking you.
No problem. I'll pass a P test real quick.
Yeah, it's out of your system real quick, you know.
I always think back to like the BMS, like the oil change or like
Oh
the
god, those the Blue Mountain State. Those were the days. That's what fucked up our lives.
yeah, that
Was that show was popular while I was a senior. You're 2 years older than you, right? You were
Yeah.
a sophomore.
So it made you guys think that's what real life was?
No, it wasn't. It made us think that's what real life was.
You guys made real life.
We made that
yeah.
real life. Fucking. That's why I probably have so many goddamn problems nowadays. We could have an entire podcast episode of just me and Gio telling stories.
Memories, yeah, absolutely.
Fuck
You know,
Christ.
who should bring on here is Nate Bennett and just have him tell stories the whole time.
That would be pretty fun. He'd be a great guest for the Diggler podcast. Actually, those two would fucking gel perfectly.
Let's talk about it. What happened to him, by the way? I meant to ask you, JD.
Oh yeah, wasn't he coming today?
He was supposed to be here.
He's on his way.
Oh good.
Oh no. Oh no.
Not
If
the
you want to see
Diggler.
debauchery, you should stick around.
That's the damn truth. But
Let's talk about the NFL, please.
Yes.
Please.
okay, preseason week 3 is today and tomorrow,
Yeah.
which is actually, if you're going to watch any part of the shitty preseason, week 3 is normally the best week to watch. 'cause
That's when you're
gonna
getting
get-
your dress rehearsals.
Yeah, you're getting the dress rehearsal. You're getting the starters for probably the entire first half, maybe the first quarter. You know, depending on how you're
Depends
coached.
who the starter is.
Yeah.
I haven't watched any football.
Yeah.
No.
I've watched
Nothing.
like maybe,
I've watched a
maybe
little
a
bit.
series.
Like I can't. I know the games don't count, and don't get me wrong. Like it's cool to if you're not tuning in like right up front, you're not seeing any of the starters.
Well, when you're watching John Franklin III play for 3 quarters and he's probably going to make the practice squad at best, you know, John Franklin III, big
And don't
last
get me
chance
wrong.
shoe star, you know.
Like don't get me wrong. I love football. Probably my favorite sport to watch over baseball, which is like crazy because I just grew up playing baseball my whole life.
I think
you know?
baseball
Like,
gets watered down when you watch it so much. But I'm one that loves watching baseball
fantasy
too. as well.
league has definitely made me interested in everything baseball.
Yeah.
and like getting crazy. But back to my point, just shorten the preseason.
They really do need to do that.
NFL,
They really
just
do.
please, like
We don't need 4
2 games. 2. I want 2.
And if you do 4 games, like 2 of them should just be the fucking practice squad and third stringers anyways. And the
Well,
guy's trying to make it on the
that's
team.
what we
Trying to
see-
make
that's
as
what we-
much money as possible,
That's what
so
we
that's
see,
cool.
and that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
That's what we see in week 4 mainly.
Yeah,
none of the
yeah.
start, none of
None
the
of the
top
starters.
30 guys are playing.
Yeah.
It's
But
the last couple.
The guys 30 through 50, or 30 through 80. Those guys are the ones
Yeah.
playing in the
Yep.
game.
They're trying to get that
And
last
they're-
20 roster
Who's
spots.
going to make the 53? And it's different this year. Last year they've had to cut incrementally. This is the first year, I believe, where they just hold the whole 90 all the way up until they have to cut to 53. So it changes the dynamic a little
A
bit.
lot of pink slips going to be going out here soon.
That's a long day for
Yeah,
the
no
coach.
Could you
shit,
imagine?
You're just
Could
like,
you
"Ah,
imagine?
yeah,
Gotta cut
sorry,
this guy.
bro."
Gotta cut this guy. I bet they have a bunch
It's
of
gonna
people.
be a long episode of
It's definitely better for the players that are fringe because they get 4 weeks of paycheck instead of getting.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
better
yeah,
better
for
for the
sure,
players
for
that are fringe. It also allows for there to be a huge reshuffling come the start of the season. So if you're playing fantasy, there might be guys actually that pop for you. And getting deeper there, we'll talk about it maybe in the next week. We'll bring up a little bit of fantasy information, but nothing major.
But we are officially less than 2 weeks away from Game 1. Bears-Packers starts off this season on Thursday Night Football, September 5th.
What do you have to make about Antonio Brown?
Oh, good
Oh
God.
my god. Yeah, bro. So I get it though. Hard Knocks, right? Like but without Antonio Brown,
He's trying to sell
Yeah, no,
pay-per-views.
he
Shout
is,
out
he
to our
is,
MMA
he is,
guys.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Like he's wide receiver, diva. Yeah, sure. If Antonio Brown was not doing what he was doing, the Raiders wouldn't be in the headlines. And I saw something like, oh yeah, everyone's so critical about Antonio Brown complaining about his helmet, and we're not talking about Tyreek Hill is actually going to end up getting to play all games this year. And
I have a
and
whole conspiracy on that we
I-
can get into.
Well, yeah, I mean, but the thing is like the Raiders. I'm a huge Broncos guy. So here's my problem.
Oh, yeah, they're in the AFC West, huh?
Yeah. So I mean, big time rivalry for a while now, ever since Shanahan. I mean, really ignited a lot more when Shanahan went from the Raiders to the Broncos, started coaching. That was actually when I first. I mean, I was super young, but my dad, same thing, got me into it. Antonio Brown is mentally challenged, and that is 100% a fact. I don't know how you fuck up your feet that bad. Like you know what you're getting into. Like wear the proper footwear.
It's only negative 270 degrees. You know, no big deal.
When you walk up to this thing, there's no way that you have footwear not just hanging there, sitting there waiting to be put on in some way.
Or a big fat warning sign.
Or just hey, put
all extremities.
Oh yeah, it's all extremities.
Yeah, exactly.
Penis.
Yeah,
It's like
put it on your dick, Antonio Brown. And if everyone recalls, remember when his dick was shown on Monday Night Football through his pants? So it's dude, put it on, bro.
He should turn this into some type of condom endorsement deal or something. Hey, Gio, would you mind throwing your Instagram in there and also saying it into the mic and the camera, please?
By the way, Giovanni_Bat. Man, is it?
Yeah, your last name's fucked up, you Italian bastard.
Oh yeah, _Bat BATT.
Or just put them in your phone as Guido
and
Goomba.
Yeah, three at the end of that. Giovanni_Bat 3. 2 T's. And yeah, it's a long one. Thank God I was able to abbreviate it. And that is just,
is that you right there, that picture?
Oh yeah, I should have clicked that. That was my bad.
But yeah, I mean, is it? You mentioned that it's putting the Raiders in the headlines, but I know a lot of times they say that any publicity is good publicity. But is this really good publicity for the Raiders?
It looks bad because you have and Gruden is playing kind of like the good cop in this, but
that's my takeaway.
But you have
takeaway from it.
You have one guy saying he needs to figure it the fuck out. You have Gruden saying he's all in. What do we got, bro?
With Antonio Brown always seeking approval from his whatever it is, whatever that is, the outreach for attention or whatever it is. He needs. I don't know what is it? We don't know, but
nobody knows.
I think
he doesn't know.
I think that John Gruden actually having his back and saying, "Yo, we're moving forward 100% no matter what." I think that matters a lot to Antonio, and I think that that's actually going to help him have a really breakout year with a new team. I don't see any reason why he's not going to just destroy.
I mean, it's Antonio.
Destroy these guys in the AFC West.
Tomlin would not have dealt with this.
Well, that's
at all.
Yeah,
and I don't.
Some
even
people
know
would argue that though. Some people are saying that Tomlin's losing control of that locker room.
What are you supposed to do, man? What do you He didn't. The dude didn't show up. How do you handle that? I get Pittsburgh having to do it, but
I feel like Gruden's kind of playing that. Okay, yeah, let me give him approval. Let me make sure I'm on his side, like you're saying. And Tomlin, at this point, he would just be what the fuck?
Yeah.
Well,
and that's the time being in those places affects those things as well because...
I don't know, man. I have a hard time dealing with the fact that he missed Week 17,
it's a
crucial
big issue.
game.
It's a big issue, man.
For the
It's a
Steelers.
huge
And
issue.
now he's fucking complaining about his helmet for 3 weeks now? After he went and got frostbite by being a fucking idiot. It's just been problem after problem after problem.
He's
and you're
most
right.
likely going to get to use his helmet for this year, by the way. That's most
Is that
likely.
what they're saying now?
Yeah, I think it's going to probably happen.
And you're right. If Antonio Brown fucking plays, he's going to do Antonio Brown things. He's one of the best receivers in the league, but he's a distraction. You never know what he's going to do next. And what's the next thing that happens to him where he sits out for another fucking important game?
Well, think about what's going to happen when he gets to Vegas.
It's going to be too hot here for him to play. It's going to be too hot for him to play.
Not even.
It's going to be 110 degrees. It's going to be too hot for Antonio's feet.
Is that our 5-minute mark?
What's up, Phil?
I have a question.
Oh,
for the group here.
Yeah.
Is Antonio Brown's antics going to affect people getting big money moving forward?
I would think
no.
I would say so. I think so. I think it's going to affect it a little bit.
Zeke, I think it's affecting a lot of people.
I think owners are going to be hesitant on bringing in these big time players that are pivotal pieces that could change a team's dynamic. But does it bring problems to the organization?
They have to be more careful. There were things that we saw out of Antonio where we knew that he was the hardest worker in the NFL. We knew that he was.
He had to be. He was a 6th-round pick.
But you don't hurdle the punter and kick him in the fucking face either.
Love that, though.
There are red flags.
There's a lot of people in the NFL or just football players in general who have probably wanted to kick a punter or a kicker at some point in time.
Doesn't make it right or doesn't mean you should do it. Come on, bro. Now I don't think it's really going to affect the contracts moving forward though, because these guys are paid to play the game, and
But you don't-
the contracts that everybody else is getting is dictating the market. That's
you don't
what,
think
that's
that's
what we're
affecting
seeing.
Zeke a little bit?
Well, I mean, that's definitely what we're seeing with Dak. The fact that the Eagles went in and got Wentz done, that set the bar. They were afraid that Dak was going to come in and the Eagles were afraid that Dak was going to get his contract done, and that was going to force the Eagles to pay even more.
And that's a problem.
They actually set the bar. Now the Cowboys are in a position where the market's dictating Dak to be paid equal or more than Carson Wentz, which is absolutely absurd to anybody that has a brain.
Yeah.
But the way that this
100%.
thing escalates.
That's a Cowboys fan saying that.
Yeah,
He's a Cowboys fan.
The way that this thing escalates, it's how it's playing out. That's just how it is.
And see, and I hate
no.
that thinking too. And
No.
I agree with a lot of your points there. And I hate to think, and I hate that's how the NFL is, but it makes sense. It's how anything is in the entire world. You know, there's a benchmark, and once somebody hits that benchmark, then everybody that's either at it or above it's going to want more. You know, Dak Prescott is not even close, not in the same fucking league as Carson Wentz. But Carson Wentz made that money, and now Dak Prescott thinks he deserves it, and because he's been to the playoffs twice.
And he's more reliable.
Yeah,
His
and
numbers
he's
are
stayed
on
healthy.
par. Like, he's won 65% of his games. Like, there's all things that, like, pan out and are accurate, except he hasn't won a Super Bowl. He can't push the ball downfield.
He can't
has
play if Zeke's not
accuracy
there.
issues. Now,
Which is that a whole nother problem.
And Zeke is the total reason why this whole machine runs.
Yeah. And that's where I think it goes to his point. I'm sorry, Gio. I'll get you in here in a
it's
second.
okay, yeah.
Is that you said that you don't think it affects the contracts, but I think it does because you're looking at the Dallas Cowboys organization. They don't want to pay Zeke. And if they don't.
Did. They just offered him Todd Gurley money, essentially.
Yeah, they said he would be the
Yeah,
second
well,
highest
if
paid.
I had to say if I had to take the top 5 running backs in the league, and then I had to pick which one is most important to that team and their success, I think Zeke is by far shot number one to their success.
He wants more than Todd Gurley.
And I think it deserves more.
To levels, dude. Here's the thing: the fact that he's under contract for these 2 years,
That's the biggest
that
problem.
has to come into play.
That's
here.
the biggest
you
problem.
You don't get to load up because you're still under contract for 2 more years. That's going to come off the bottom line, and that's where I think Dallas is correct and kind of essentially lowballing him. It's a little bit of a lowball. I think they're going to come out of pocket and actually pay him, but at the same time, he has to realize like
It's a bad
you don't-
precedent to set. It's a bad precedent to set.
To get this extension early, you have to give a little bit too.
But now you have Julio Jones, and this is going to go to Amari Cooper. You have Julio Jones who's trying to set the market again. He's trying to get another contract extension for more money. And when that comes in, when Julio Jones gets paid, that's why Amari Cooper hasn't signed a contract extension yet, is because he's waiting to see what Julio Jones makes, because now he's going to want Julio Jones money. And Amari Cooper, I like him. He's good. He's not Julio Jones good. He's not Julio Jones money.
So think about this for a second, and I have a couple things.
You're good. Go in, dude.
So the NFL is starting to get to the point to where the NBA now is, with the players controlling more of what happens.
Even though the
It's
CBA doesn't work out that way, the players are starting to force their hands
exactly.
a little bit more.
I mean, they're
Melvin Gordon, Zeke,
exactly. I mean, they're
Dak walking
they're
out on
not
$30
gonna-
million.
So,
Are you kidding me?
Okay, so that is now into this. $30 million would be more than Drew Brees and the same amount as Matt Ryan. I just looked this up.
Yeah, he'd be like top 5. Or number 6.
Matt Ryan makes $29.8 million. Drew Brees is making $25 million a year. And don't get me wrong.
Then you can
Drew
look at a
Brees
guy
is
like Jimmy,
older.
Jimmy G. You could look at a guy like Jimmy, and Dak deserves equal or more than Jimmy does based on their numbers and performance in the NFL. Now, I can't detract from what I see looking at them as quarterbacks. Like, that's a different thing. But when you argue numbers and you argue win percentage, like Dak, he's up there. He's there.
For sure.
He's much more confident.
And I've said
He's
for a
there.
while that Jimmy G's contract was ridiculous.
That's
to
where
get
this
paid
whole
that
thing
type
is
of
like,
money.
it's a disaster, and it's going to hemorrhage the Cowboys team.
Oh, it is.
They're
It really
one of
is.
the deepest, youngest teams in the whole NFL, and Dak is going to fuck this team.
No,
Well,
yeah, by wanting $10 more million a year, which he doesn't need, because when you look at the amount of money that they're making sponsorship wise, along with their contract, like that, it is. Are you really going to notice the $10 million? And to us, obviously, we're going to notice $10 million. But for them, I think it's more of a. This is. I feel like I deserve this, and this is mine.
He would notice the $10 million too, but what point do you value winning versus money.
Yeah. See, and
Like,
that's
dude,
where my
how much
mind
is
goes.
how much is enough and how much is too much? Like, you have to, like, dude, you want to win, right? That's why you're playing in the NFL. That's why you want to be a quarterback for 10 years. That's why you want to go into the Hall of Fame, to win Super Bowls. How are you going to win Super Bowls? By building a team around every player.
And
You know,
Specifically.
when
and
you have
that's-
all these guys,
And
that
with a guy
need
like
to get
Dak, who
paid.
isn't a catalyst like Aaron Rodgers,
No.
who isn't a catalyst like Drew Brees, who isn't a
And
catalyst
Drew
like Tom
Brees is
Brady,
only making 25.
how on earth can he, in his right mind, go to sleep at night justifying asking the Cowboys for $40 million a year?
And see, this is why
It's absurd. It is absurd.
It really gets in my mind. I have
I'm
a hard
mad.
time battling
I'm
with
mad.
it.
I'm mad.
glad you're mad.
I didn't even
I'm
think
glad.
about being mad.
Fucking Chris is
I
mad.
got mad.
But it's true, and there's so much truth to it, man. It's so frustrating because I'm all for players going to get their money. I will always tell a person, if
Me
you can
too.
make your money, go make your money.
But there's
at the
levels to this shit, man.
exactly.
Come
At the same
on.
time, it's like, Dak, you're not worth $30 million, bro. You're barely worth 15. Sorry, I would trade you for Nick Mullins and a bag of peanuts.
We're sending this to him on Twitter,
That's
by
fine.
the way.
Like I would
that
trade
one
him.
little clip.
I would
Just
trade
that
him for
one
Nick
little clip,
Mullins and a
please.
bag of fucking peanuts. Like, you're worth 15 million tops, bro. But 15 million is still a lot of money, and you have one of the. And this is coming from a Bears fan who fucking despises the Cowboys almost as much as I hate the Packers. You have one of the youngest, best defenses in the league. You have the number one running back in the league, and you have Amari Cooper, who's a pretty damn good wide receiver. But you're gonna leverage your entire team and the O line. Yeah, the O line's still solid.
There's
There's a lot of things.
You're gonna fucking destroy the entire Cowboys
All
organization
for a guy
you to
who
make
looks
10 more million.
All for a guy who looks good behind the assets you already have.
Yeah, got it.
They
And-
could get Cooper Rush to go out there and look decently enough.
Put
Who
any
was the other guy
quarterback
you
in that
asked?
team.
Oh, Andy Dalton would look like a superstar on this Cowboys
Bro,
team.
Andy Dalton might win a Super Bowl
look-
with them.
no,
Touchdowns from this offense.
It's insane.
look no further than Tom fucking Brady. He's got 6 rings. He is the model of success for any sport. You could use basketball, baseball, football, whatever, hockey. He is a model of success, and he's taken pay cuts damn near every year for like the last 10 years. He's always been on a much lower contract money-wise than every other quarterback in the league that's a top-tier guy because they pay the players around him so that his team is consistently good. It blows my
2
mind.
years, $41 million. That was his contract.
It's super
extension.
generous.
That's
It's super generous.
For- is that Tom Brady's?
$20.5 million
For
And,
probably the greatest quarterback of all time.
but
He's
he
making
knows.
$20 million.
He-
And Dak wants double.
And Dak wants double that. Fuck out of
Dak,
here.
Brady.
Fuck out of here,
Brady-
Dak.
Brady
and I
without
hope he
any
does
legs.
it.
I
And,
mean-
and I hope he does it. And I feel bad for Chris. I fuck around because I hate the Cowboys, right? But obviously, he's a Cowboys fan. And I want my friends' teams to do good, obviously, especially if mine sucks. But the Bears should be good this year. I cannot wait for them to pay Dak, not pay Zeke. I hope Zeke holds out because then it will show how much of a fraud Dak Prescott really is without having Zeke there to back him
that
up.
would make you like tongue in cheek laugh. But what they really need to do is just let Zeke sign Zeke right now.
I mean, with
Then-
that contract.
Then they need to turn around and go after Byron Jones and or Lale Collins re-signing, and then franchise tag Dak. And if they do that, then they're moving in the right direction.
But what do they do with Amari? They franchise him next year? They pay him next year?
Get rid of him.
Because that's like another thing that I hear.
Hopefully, Michael Gallup takes a step forward this year.
Yeah.
I think is what
you see-
if I'm running the show, I think that's I think that's
Yeah.
where my head's at. Hopefully, Michael Gallup.
But if you traded some serious assets to make that happen, you gotta pay them.
Then we're gonna have to move him again this year.
Yeah. The Cowboys are in a very fucking interesting
They're in
predicament.
win now
They,
mode.
yeah, like they are win this fucking year mode because next year the entire team might be blown up.
I hope they don't, because then they're going to have to give him $40 million. Which actually, just to back up for 2 seconds, them paying the defense is actually something that I was very happy with. That they
No,
did-
it's a great
that-
thing to do.
They didn't just balk and turn around and give Dak what he asked
Gave
for.
Jalen
They said
Smith
they-
good money
they-
that he deserved. He's a great
they
young fucking
Got
linebacker.
ahead of the curve on Jalen Smith,
Yeah.
and
It
he's
sends
smart.
A message too.
It sends a message. It totally sends a message, and I don't think that they should balk off of this offer that they gave to Zeke either. I think that should be dude. They should
I
have been
don't
like,
blame 'em.
you
I don't
have
blame 'em at all.
you have 8 hours, and if not, we'll see you when we see you and move on,
Yeah.
or at least give the perception that you move on. But
Yeah, no, fair game. Fair game.
That Cowboys defense is growing, and all they
Cowboys,
need to,
they're top
all
five.
They need
They're
to
top
do
five
now
for
is
sure.
lock down Byron Jones, and that thing is like.
It's a nasty defense. It is
Yes.
I would go as far as say that you'll see this year the top 3 defenses in the league probably be the Bears, Cowboys, and Eagles, by far. those three are going to be disgusting.
Yeah, the Bears defense is just. I actually am very happy with the Broncos hire of Vic Fangio.
Oh, I love Vic Fangio. I mean, I hate that he left, but I think it's great for you guys.
Yeah, I mean to hopefully get back to those. Stellar defense.
I mean, you still got some solid pieces around.
Bradley Chubb and
Yeah,
Von
Chubb,
Miller.
Von Miller.
That's a solid place to
You
start.
still got Josie Jewell. I like Josie Jewell coming out of Iowa last year.
No,
I
yeah,
think he takes a big step this year.
I mean, they're definitely looking good, but not to get into my home team, you know. But I mean,
No,
just
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Drew Lock just went on IR.
Did he really?
Yeah.
What happened?
Thumb.
Oh, throw one
But
hand too.
I think that this is a situation where if Flacco's trash and they're horrible, that he'll be the guy that they designate back.
I can already tell you.
Here's-
I think if this is the question that like I'm gonna get asked, I have no fucking clue what John Elway is doing. If that's what you're asking.
No, I was going to ask you what your temperature / belief is in Joe Flacco
Oh, I mean,
for where you guys are at right now.
listen. You're basically standing on a hill, and it curves either way. I mean, you drop the ball right in the middle and see where it goes. Because I don't know.
Is he better than Case Keenum?
Yeah.
See, that's my thing too. We wasted all this money on Case Keenum.
Oh, that
why
was-
is why?
Well, that's what happens when you go to a system that works
But-
for you and you have Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs to throw to and you have your career year. You go make fucking, what was it, $20 million he made? Something like that?
Yeah.
Can't blame the guy.
Yeah,
Just like I can't blame Zeke or Melvin Gordon for holding out.
Flacco, at one point considered an elite quarterback. So it's like, but I mean,
Hey, man, he won a Super Bowl in a contract year.
that was. I mean, you want to talk about clutch?
and who did he throw to the Hail Mary to?
I don't even want to talk about that, bro.
It was Jones, man.
Yep. And
Jacoby Jones.
Jacoby Jones
Yep.
and
Over Raheem Moore.
Let me tell you.
oh,
something.
Raheem.
Let me tell you.
You got
something.
deep coverage, man. It's the end of the
so
game.
obvious.
Play the goal line.
Why are you backpedaling? I think I
Just
remember I
Gio just got Vietnam
He just
flashbacks.
turned
dude,
and run.
it's
Yes,
so
sir.
hard.
mine.
I remember I was at Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm going crazy the whole game. This was before I was allowed to drink legally.
But you were drinking.
And no, unfortunately, like you couldn't really get away with anything in there. So like,
B-Dubs always finds out.
yeah, I'm convinced they have more cameras than our like casinos, bro. They're just fucking eyeing down on you.
Shout out
sitting
Buffalo
in
Wild.
there-
Shout out Buffalo Wild Wings.
Sponsor us.
for their special the special care that they take to draft parties for fantasy football.
Oh.
They do a really good job
Do they really?
catering to everybody and their needs,
Yeah, that would be nice.
as well as providing the boards and
Here's a
players
great
for you
question.
to stick up.
What was worse, the Raheem Morn blow coverage in the Broncos-Ravens game or the Cody Parkey double doink?
I mean,
Just so I could be in his realm of pain.
So when you think about this, I think it's the Broncos.
That was what game was that though?
AFC Championship.
Was the championship?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
But
so
you're-
that's worse.
But when you look
Well,
at
we've
it,
seen kickers do it before.
But when you look at it, like you're looking at the Bears, and like I don't think anyone's really expecting like the Bears to win the Super Bowl last year.
Fucking I was.
With that, I mean, don't get me wrong, Bears fans, obviously, like you guys should be. I mean, I love Bears fans. They're like some of the best people in the world. Cowboys fans, I'm really not a fan. It's all right. It's all right.
I don't associate it with any other Cowboys
I feel that.
fan.
I feel that. That's
like,
fair.
I even fucking hate myself.
Good.
you know?
I mean, it's okay.
He wakes up in the morning, he looks in the mirror and just goes, "You're a piece of shit."
Fuck you.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Yeah, dude. Whatever, bro.
That
We're good.
year was Peyton Manning's first year. That offense looked unbelievable.
That was a 5,050 touchdown year, wasn't it?
Yeah. Or
that year
no,
too?
yeah. But no, that year was the. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You still had a monster year, like 40 touchdowns.
Insane.
Yeah, it's still.
Insane.
I mean, yeah,
Next year was the freakish one where they had 5 guys with 10 touchdowns.
Yeah.
where he's just throwing ducks all
Well,
over the field and they're just like perfectly placed.
Well, he threw 7 touchdown passes to start that season, right? In the one
week
game.
one.
Yeah, and against the Ravens. I mean, don't get me wrong, that felt good when they absolutely destroyed the Ravens. But I just remember after that blown coverage game, sitting in my room in the dark and the TV on, just basically replaying the highlights. I was basically torturing myself.
That was my biggest thing. Was I could never watch ESPN after the Cowboys lost on Monday night because it was just the worst.
I
thing.
did.
They
I went up
always
to my room
lost.
after Parky fucking double doinked in. I went onto Twitter and I just
Oh, it
looked
was-
at all the hate mail that was being sent to him. I didn't send anything to him personally because I'm not that kind of person.
just felt good
but
to
I
look
just,
at it.
yeah, I just wanted to see all the fucking hate mail that he was getting because
That's so hard.
everything that I seen, I was just like, yep, I agree. Oh, I agree.
All right, so real quick, we wanted to piggyback it off of the fact that it was humorous. We didn't do that. Was plug it with the how DeMarcus Lawrence is talking about it being
Yes.
an absolute. He said, "Oh, absolutely. That's also a blessing to my career to be able to go against Eli twice a year. I'm so ready for it this season." Wow, that's absolutely insane because he has 3.5 sacks for his career against the Giants. So the fact that there's this notion where DeMarcus Lawrence eats the Giants alive, that's false. Super false. Anyways,
Stats don't lie, DeMarcus.
Yeah.
Stats don't lie. But so it came out.
Daniel Jones has been phenomenal.
He looked okay. It's preseason. It is preseason. Take it with a fucking big ass grain of salt.
Second string guys,
Um,
third string guys. in
Yeah,
there,
no, he
maybe.
played the Bears. It was literally nobody that's going to make like the final roster. It was like the bottom 30 guys.
What else could he have done?
But
No,
he,
yeah,
but he
you
did
should
well.
say,
He
yeah,
did
you
well.
gotta perform. You gotta perform.
From an evaluating talent perspective?
He did fumble twice.
I didn't see those.
Yeah.
But I did see the clip up. What else could he have done?
But he threw some good balls. Threw some great balls.
So far in the preseason, isn't he he's only
I'd
thrown
say-
2 incomplete passes?
It's something like that. He's been great all preseason. And I've said back in draft time, I said Daniel Jones I thought was the best quarterback coming out. So I'm hoping that I'll be
was-
proven right there.
That was my guy.
But Baker Mayfield was in GQ magazine for a interview recently, and he had some very interesting words. Now, I'm a Baker Mayfield fan. I love the way he plays. I love that arrogant / cockiness to him that he plays with. All about it. Love it.
He said,
But what's the quote?
He said, "I cannot believe the Giants took Daniel Jones. It blows my mind." The interviewer then said, "I tell Mayfield that I'm mystified that so many supposedly expert quarterback scouts were unable to predict what makes a good NFL quarterback." Baker Mayfield then said, "Some people overthink it. That's where people go wrong. They forget that you've got to win." So I think Baker's getting slandered here for destroying Daniel Jones when really it was more of a separation of two different thoughts where it was not really related to Daniel Jones when he's speaking about the overall scouting of the quarterback position.
It's still shade.
That's where my mind goes. I think it's still shade Gio.
I think that the media is entirely out to get Baker, and I think it's a serious issue. What I think you kind of if you want to look into like retrospect, like compare like Baker Mayfield to how the media is with him, it's like Cam Newton, in my opinion. How Cam Newton was especially to like start off like it just feels like the media is why does he have to explain himself? Like don't get me wrong, like hey, like you know what, like why did you take Daniel Jones? Like why like.
The issue that I have with Baker in comparison, and actually we can use Daniel Jones as a perfect comparison here, is that when Daniel Jones was asked what his thoughts were on his play this preseason and if he was looking forward to becoming the starter, he thought logically about it, and he didn't go down the Baker route. He said, "I'm here to learn every single week. I'm here to do whatever the team needs me." And he's not detracting from the overall team. I think that Baker is kind of a loose cannon. Now he does kind of back it up on the field, but then again, everybody comes down to earth, man. He did not show well this past week,
and that's where I go. So like I already said, I prefaced it with I love the attitude that Baker brings. I'm always for a guy that can be cocky, a little bit arrogant, play with some swagger, but he backs it up. I mean, I like to think that that's how I played when I was, still playing sports. I love to talk shit. It was my favorite part of playing sports.
Yeah, talking shit was fun.
But
I hardly ran my mouth when
honestly,
I played.
I would just run my mouth all the time.
I would just try to bury you.
But
I still run my mouth. So
yeah, that's true.
Now I run my mouth a little bit.
And I would run my mouth, and then you would try to bury me, and then my goal would be to beat you and run my mouth while I was doing it. But
good luck.
yeah, right. And that's just two different types of athletes, right? But here's my problem with it. He says you have to win. Okay, Baker.
They forget that you've got to win.
They forget that you have to win. Okay, Baker, you were 1-6 versus teams above 500 last year in the NFL. People want to ride you so hard because you came in, the Browns won some games finally. You played a great season, but you did it versus nobodies, and you did it for a team that had won one game in 2 years. So it's not like the game plans going into those fucking games were just like, oh, man, we got to stop Baker Mayfield. This is the guy we got to key on. The teams play down to their competition sometimes, and you could definitely say that teams would always overlook the Browns. So they're not going to be overlooked this year. He was 1-6 versus 500 teams. And if you want to bring it back all the way to college, dude, Daniel Jones played at fucking Duke. Name one other player that played alongside Daniel Jones. Exactly. Baker Mayfield, you played at fucking Oklahoma. The notoriously top Big 12 team every year. So don't talk to me about winning. You go to fucking Florida. Let's see what you do versus the Bamas and the LSUs. You go to fucking Duke, and let's see what you do with nobody standing around you.
His replacement won the Heisman, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It must have been so hard to play at Oklahoma when Kyler Murray comes in the next year and then wins the fucking Heisman Trophy.
It's kind of crazy that the two players that won the Heisman came out of the same exact system, and they're very similar as far as how they play the game.
And I've said it once. I've said it a million times. The Big 12 is a joke. The fucking team needs the entire conference needs to be completely eradicated from the Big 5 fucking standings until half of those teams can play any type of amount, semblance, whatever word you want to use, of fucking defense. Trash.
Cool.
Complete trash. Fucking hate the Big 12.
No, yeah, it's actually insane to me that no one can figure out how to stop anybody.
It's
I
That's
like
what you look at. All these numbers, all these guys' numbers are so
Do they-
inflated. But all they're doing is scheming guys open and just dumping the ball off at 4 yards, man. That's all that's happening.
Do they only? I feel like they don't know how to tackle though either. Like I feel like they recruit only offensive players, and they're like, oh, we'll worry about the defensive players
Well,
and like walk on tryouts.
The game's
Like-
changed, man. All of the rules are totally catered on both levels, college and pro.
Oh,
to,
yeah.
I mean,
you want-
to the
you want-
offense.
you want offense.
And the defense, there's
So-
a changing of the guard where the defense is having to relearn how to play a game.
Well, that's
and
it
the
too.
offense just got their rules lifted.
Yeah.
It's like it's
it's like if this is the
it's
middle.
made for television.
Yeah, right, here's the middle. Offense is just like everything's going this way to make it easier for you to score points.
And then you
and then instead of the defense following it, the defense is like, okay, now you can't do this. Now you can't do that. Now you can't do this. So you have to relearn everything that you were taught growing up playing football. And that's how far they are now. You know, it
creates
sucks,
a serious
but
skill gap.
It really does. It really does. And
well, why are there other good defensive teams then though? Like, but that's
not in the Big 12.
I mean, but what rules do they play that are different?
They get the better players.
No, I get that. Okay, you're obviously getting the better players, but like I mean, there are still defensively sound good teams, especially I mean, like you're looking at the SEC for example. I mean, and honestly, Clemson's defense was unbelievable. last year. That
Clemson
was
and
like-
the ACC, that's about it. Then you have just about all the SEC. Usually the top teams there have good defenses, and then most of the Big 12 or Big 10 teams have good defenses.
I mean, it really boils down to scheme and
That's what I'm saying.
ability
Coaching
to
and-
put players in the right play,
and
the
personnel.
right place at the right period of time. Now, but now you can even do that, and then a player doesn't make the tackle because they're used to blowing through some guy with their face mask, and now
Exactly.
they're
Now
having to arm tackle.
You hit somebody the wrong way, it's a 15-yard penalty
or
for the
you get
offense. And
thrown
you're getting
out,
thrown out of
bro.
the game.
You can get thrown out.
Question from the producer.
The best, with the rules shifting more offensive, all of the best athletes are choosing to play offense instead of defense now, too.
I would say that's probably fair.
Say that.
Yeah,
I'm trying to pick you up, but if you couldn't hear what the producer said on the mics, he said that one of the reasons that offenses are getting better is because all of the skill players, all the athletes are choosing to play offense because it's easier now than having to play defense.
All the leftover scrubs are the ones that get to play defense. Huh?
Oh, well, you can't catch with the
ones
shit,
with
so
no
you get
hands,
over
yeah,
here.
you're gonna
That's
play
the-
corner.
That's the age-old adage.
No, you're going to get your dick set for scoring touchdowns, or you're going to pay $500,000 for hitting someone high. Like, it's easy.
Yeah.
And I still liked hitting people though. But your point is correct.
It makes sense.
You don't get your dick sucked for getting a $500,000 fine.
For batting down balls, bro.
Yeah.
You don't.
There's no glory on defense, baby. You do it because it's all heart.
You don't have
all
to tell
hard.
me. I get it, but
Well, yeah, you were a defense. We're the only two defensive guys in here because you got a fucking quarterback standing up there.
Play
Yeah.
offense where the money's at.
Sorry,
I never
it was
got
a
to
business
experience
decision.
right? And
Playing
he was more of a
football
baseball guy. and
was never a thing for me. My
there's
dad
a-
was
if there's-
very protective about that.
if there's a good thing about baseball, though, for lack of a better term of using getting your dick sucked,
Chicks do dig the long ball.
That was
in,
off camera.
in football, our numbers probably aren't as high as JD's, but baseball, you can play any position and you're going to be just fine. Your numbers will be adequate, to say the least. Pitcher, position player.
So, segueing right into the biggest piece of shit this week.
Me.
It's us. We're the biggest piece of shit.
It was us last year once.
And today's biggest pieces of shit, it's going to be our first two-time biggest piece of shit of the week. Gio, will you please tell our audience who it is?
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
AB 84.
I think he's scared to say his actual name because he doesn't want to be ridiculed. But
Antonio Brown.
we'll
I was very critical of him, but yeah, Antonio Brown.
we'll be very critical of him here as well. Bro, just get it together, man. You want to talk about guys that just need to just play?
For real, I'm going to say it. Dude,
I hope you
play.
break your arm.
dude, just fucking play, man. Stop bitching about it.
I hope you break your elbow.
I don't care that you broke your elbow.
I don't care that you broke your elbow.
Fuck, man.
Sorry.
I don't care that you got frostbite on your fucking hands, feet, and penis.
Yeah.
Fucking play the game. Stop worrying about your helmet. Stop. You're.
Where was he at? Demath? Was it Demath? No. Was it SoCal football school? He was there yesterday. Maybe it was their off day. I don't know.
Why don't you just worry about
But yeah, this
fixing your ugly ass feet,
play.
going to practice. Stop trying to paint your helmet like a fucking third grader in our class to make it seem like it's the new helmet.
Bro, that was like
which he did. He legitimately did that.
That was like the NYFL thing, dude. People would just like paint their own helmets and shit and bring them, and they'd just play with their own helmets.
grown-
what is this, Pop Warner?
Literally,
It
a
must
grown
be,
fucking
we must
man.
be playing Pop Warner football out here.
Unbelievable. A grown man painted his fucking helmet and brought it to practice. A grown man. He's 31 years old. I'm a man. I'm 40. Like, dude, you fucking kidding me?
Mike Gundy would probably cut him for that.
He got paid how much? New contract was worth how much?
Shit, a lot.
Retire over a helmet?
Yeah.
Good.
What
You know what?
he made
Just
like
fucking-
$150
just retire.
million or
Just
something?
retire because I don't even want the Raiders to come here anyway. So
How about that fake, the fake Ian Rappaport Twitter?
That shit
Twitter
was so
that said
funny.
that the fake Ian Rappaport Twitter tweet out that Antonio Brown was retiring over the helmet discrepancy, and
I
then
follow that account.
Yeah, but you know,
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
people don't know.
No, yeah,
Peter
no,
King, avid NFL beat writer, retweeted it and was like, "Oh, such a shame." Blah, blah, blah.
Have never seen anybody. Do more to shoot their way out of town than this guy. Like what's his deal? And
Well,
it's
It's crazy how that
account.
fake tweet got a real thought out of somebody.
first time, two-time biggest piece of shit of the week, Antonio Brown. Dude, figure the fuck out. Just go play some football. You're one of the best receivers in the game. Stop worrying
We
about
don't
a
want to
fucking
see.
helmet.
We don't want to hear or see you in the headlines.
Yeah,
I
we're
want to see
tired
you
of seeing your name.
catching touchdowns and dancing and
Yeah, do the
making
fucking hip
Derek
thrusting shit
making
again.
Derek
you know?
Carr like a maybe a
Perennial all-star or
playoff
something.
winning. He already is a playoff winning
time.
quarterback as they move to Las Vegas.
Yep.
The Raiders are going to need to be really careful with who they start bringing into the team because Vegas is a different animal. I mean, you're not gonna get these guys where they're
This
like,
place will chew you up.
oh
and
yeah.
spit
I mean,
you
well,
out, man.
that's the thing is that like you're gonna start to have to get those less riskier guys that aren't gonna go. I mean, and don't get me wrong,
Lot
go
of
out,
clubs to
enjoy
go
yourself.
to.
That's the thing. I mean, you could do whatever you want here. There's a lot of cameras. There's a lot of people looking at you, especially when you're in that aspect.
When
So
you're
it's-
Antonio
yeah,
Brown,
I mean, yeah,
you've
Antonio
got-
Brown
you got
is
the following.
Yeah, so the Raiders are going to be stuck with some pretty tough decisions moving forward for sure.
Indeed. But damn, gentlemen, football's back. Season 2, episode 1 is finished.
I'm actually
Antonio Brown still a piece of shit of the week.
I'm actually excited for this football season.
I am too. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I was
can't
not
wait.
excited for last football season, but I'm excited for this one.
It's going to be fun. It's football, man. We're back. We're in the best time of the year. Football's starting. You got basketball will be coming in October. Hockey will be starting here soon too.
Baseball playoffs.
Baseball playoffs come up because we're in that dog days of baseball time where no one gives a shit. But once October gets
We're
here,
right there.
Oh,
No,
and
we're right
I'll leave
in
you
these
guys
races.
with this.
Ooh.
I did experience polo for the first time this
Water
summer.
polo?
No, like
the
on a horse,
yeah.
riding around the field, hitting a ball through some posts.
that's some New York, like Syracuse, upstate shit.
It was actually that was in Virginia, man.
Really?
It's some high class shit, is what it is. That's where the money is.
Wow.
Gay wedding shit.
Yeah, that too.
But all right, Gio. Hey, appreciate you coming on, brother.
Thank you guys for
Gio
having me.
Battistoni. If I could plug you real quick, Gio. Where are you working now?
So I am working at Chaos Home Loans. I'm a junior loan officer. If you need a home, you let me know. UNLV Barstool. Go follow both accounts. Twitter, Instagram, you'll find it. This podcast, not affiliated with them, but
We loved having you on as a
But
guest.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. One last thought. Tom Brady is a system quarterback. Thank you.
And this motherfucker ended on that. You ended on that. You get, and we don't even get to talk about that shit.
I guess we have a topic for next week.
No shit. Yeah, next time I come on, we can explain it, bro.
Fuck.